Alrighty folks, hello. Welcome to week 3 of Wednesday live Q&A. I've got an amazing question this evening which I feel like is incredibly important for a whole number of men. So I'll start off by reading it out as usual. And this week's question is from Dan. So he wrote to me saying, lately I've been suffering from a bit of soft cock, even though I'm horny as hell but also super stressed, and we lost everything due to COVID. Tough question. What can I do about it? And do you think it could be stress related? No one talks about this stuff. So I first want to start by saying thank you, Dan, because what you've done here actually is blown apart some of the unconscious rules of masculinity which keeps us trapped and stuck in our problems. You've shared your challenge, you've opened yourself up vulnerably, and you've sought to get more information about it. So all of those steps are already doing things differently in men's sexuality and also helping other men. So thank you, Dan. You're freaking awesome. Welcome, folks, if you're just joining now. Dan the man indeed, says Nadia. So I want to dive right in. And I want to start by saying that I actually asked Dan for a bit more information because it's important to know the context of people's scenarios before trying to kind of address them and respond to them. And Dan shared with me a lot about some of the detail of what he's going through and what's creating stress in his life. And I won't share those details with you, but I can say that it is huge and it's across the board financial, structure of his life. His world is being turned upside down in some ways, and he's got a really stressful life right now. So that's really important context for this conversation today. So one of the questions was, could my loss of erection be stress related? And I want to start by saying absolutely. It's almost definitely stress related. And one of the challenges with this is that we are taught as men that our sexuality is a physical act. It's not got anything to do with our emotions or our psychology. And so immediately we are living inside of a paradigm that denies us the ability to acknowledge that the way we're feeling and the way we are in our emotions is going to impact our bodies and how we show up during sex. So that's one piece that is really important to acknowledge, that we are emotional, psychological creatures. We have a physical body and they all interconnect and they affect each other. So if you're feeling stressed, then it's really natural that that's going to impact your anatomy. It's going to impact your arousal and your engorgement and start to create different experiences. And that's why it is so common these days actually in men to have erectile challenges and to have a whole range of sexual challenges, because they're being bombarded emotionally and mentally by life, and we don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to release that emotion, and we're blocked up, so it starts to affect our sexuality. So we move into the question of, what can I do about it? What can I do about my soft cock? And this is where I get really, really excited, because what I want to say to every man out there who is facing erectile challenges, whether they be short or long, physically or in periods of time, whether they've been around for ages, whether you feel a little bit okay with it, a little bit challenged or deeply challenged, you are being invited into an opportunity of radical self-love and acceptance. Let me repeat that. You are being invited into an opportunity of radical self-love and acceptance. So the first thing that you can do in response to this is continue loving yourself passionately. Commit to finding a belief inside yourself that you are worthy and valid for being on this planet just as you are, whether your cock is hard or soft, it doesn't matter. And if we rest into that, if we start to decouple our worthiness and our masculinity from our cocks and from our hard cock in particular, then we start to actually become free human beings. And out of that space and out of that freedom, we can start to explore other avenues and create opportunities for our emotional bodies and our nervous systems to be expressed and to come back to equilibrium, and then our anatomy may start changing again. So the first thing that you can do is have compassion for yourself. offer a loving response. And this goes for people's partners as well. If you're the partner of a person who is having erectile challenges, who's getting a soft cock when they don't want to, please understand that if you are adding pressure to this situation, if you are judging that person, if you are judging that man for the state of their cock in that moment, then you are perpetuating a violent culture of patriarchy that says a man has to have a hard cock to be valid and has to have a hard cock to be a real man and to have real sex. So to all of the partners out there, you are being offered the same opportunity to love your man, to love your partner's cock and body with the same unconditional regard and compassion, and to find pleasure and enjoyment and connection still, despite the fact that their cock might be hard or soft. And when we start to rest into that, when we start to really accept ourselves, then connection comes, and out of connection builds arousal and engorgement again. So that's the first step. The second step is starting to actually work with our nervous systems and our emotions. So if we are holding a lot of stress, if we're holding a lot of emotion, we need to find a way to address that first before we can expect our bodies to do something differently. Hello, welcome if you're just joining. We're just talking about addressing soft cocks, losing erections. And so to do that, you need to be able to find avenues for outlet, for emotional outlet and processing that suit you. For me, there's times where it can just be like, I'm going to go into my room, I'm going to take some time, I'm just going to feel my emotions, or I'm going to have a cry, or I'm going to have a rage. It might be I need to call my partner, or I just need for us to create a 10-minute period of time where I can just tell you how I'm feeling. And we can actually acknowledge all of that in this space before we start to engage in sex. So that's around the emotional psychology, the psychological aspect of our experience as human beings and sexual creatures. We need to be in touch with how we are in the present moment and give that space and room to breathe and be expressed. On a somatic nervous system level, if we're in a high stress state, then it's blocking our engorgement and blocking our arousal. Our bodies, you may not know this, but our bodies actually need to go into a down-regulated, relaxed state for at least a short period of time before they can start building engorgement and arousal. And so if we are living in a stress state, it's actually cutting off our neural circuitry to creating engorgement in our genitals, to sending extra blood flow there. So one of the ways that you can address this is start your sexual experiences by really relaxing yourself and your partner. So I'm talking slow breath, slow exhale. I'm talking really gentle touch all over your body, maybe making really gentle sounds. You'll notice after you do these practices for a few minutes, your entire state and experience will start to down-regulate, we call it. You'll start to relax and settle in more to yourself. And if you're noticing that you're getting pulled out, whether your mind's taking you to other places, then that's a marker that you need to give some attention to that psychological, emotional part of your being. You need to speak some things, or you need to process some things before you can expect yourself to come into a more heightened, aroused state. So just to recap, we've got radical self-love and acceptance, compassion. We've got emotional and psychological processing and feeling, actually just allowing ourselves to be where we're at, to connect through that with our partners, to connect to ourselves through that, through our struggles, through the things that make us human. And finally, to look at what is happening on a somatic level, on a nervous system level, and how can I soothe my nervous system? Down-regulating breath, slow exhales, slow, gentle touch, making low humming sounds, vibrations, all of that making noise relaxes the jaw, relaxes the throat, sends messages through our neural pathways to relax our entire body. And as you can start to see, this soft cock all of a sudden has created all of these opportunities for different experiences. And the thing that excites me the most about these challenges that people face is it's inviting you to open into a whole other world of pleasure and sexuality, and to start going on the journey of where else is my pleasure, where else is my connection, where else is my arousal, and to start finding those avenues out. Now, I don't want to pretend that if you're stuck in a place where you can't get an erection again, you don't want to stay there. But I feel confident that if you keep exploring other avenues and you try out those methods, then over time, your erections, your arousal will be able to build again, and you'll feel safe, calm, relaxed enough that that can happen naturally. I want to finally share an anecdote from one of the trainings I did. There's this beautiful part of the bodywork modality that I do, and it's called soft cock massage. And we get taught a whole bunch of strokes that are specific to soft cocks, that are specific to finding pleasure and sharing pleasure with a person with a soft cock, and to just allow that and be there. Because penises in our modern world are expected so often to be hard and only get attention when they're hard. And there's this beautiful, beautiful, loving, gentle, connected space that can form out of connecting over a soft cock. So explore what kind of more subtle and gentle pleasure can you find in your soft penis? What kind of gentle and loving connection can you find in your partnership with a soft penis? And the final aspect, the final piece in that story is at the end of the day where we were doing soft cock massage in the training I was a part of, we went around the group and shared a bunch of things. And one of the questions that was asked was, what was soft cock massage like? What did it feel like? And one of the students put their hand up who was massaging. She was a woman, and she said, a soft cock feels like potential. A soft cock feels like potential. And that just made my heart sing. I was like, ding, we're done here. We've got everything we need. It was such a beautiful and honoring moment. So I really encourage you, if you're watching this, to take away these tools, to try them out, to try and remove the pressure and expectation from yourself, to try and meet yourself fully in love and acceptance. If that feels really hard, get support with it. Find ways to be gentle and caring with yourself, and reach out. If you need support, if you need more ideas, if you're challenged, if you're struggling, then please reach out. I offer free 30-minute chats to anyone interested in doing sexuality work, whether it's with me or someone else, just to support you in taking the next steps. I would love to talk to you. And if you want to do a bit more reading, I've got an amazing ebook called Bombshells of Important Truths About Sex. Both the free chat and the ebook can be booked and downloaded on my Linktree in my bio, so check that out. Thank you so much for being with me here on Wednesday Live Q&A, happening every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Melbourne time. And remember that if you've got a question, or if you've got a friend who's got a question, DM me, send it to me in a DM. Tell me whether you're happy for me to use your name or not. I'm really happy to leave it anonymous, and I would love to keep answering your questions. Have an awesome evening, folks. Thanks heaps for being here. Mwah.